Okay, so right back in the same file that we just left off, and I'm going to select all of this, and we're just going to make room by dragging that further down. And so from the original image, might move this down a little bit. So from this image, I want to get the edges, i.e. the canny. I don't want to get it from this image, which is just this depth map. So from here, I might do a reroute to bring this further along. And okay. And we can just double click and do canny. And use just the standard one. And the threshold is really going to depend on the image. I kind of briefly showed a slide about how edge detection works, and it's about, if you have all the pixels from 0 to 2.255, i.e. black to gray, then we're sort of setting a threshold of if adjacent pixels have a difference in their pixel value, let's say just on a grayscale one of 30, then make an edge. And if it's below 50, that's an edge. But if it's either bounds on that, don't make an edge. And in that way, we have a low and a high threshold, and we can control the edges. It'll be more obvious when I connect this to an image. So I can, let's say, save or do preview. Let's say, just hit the save and put this up here to image, and then rename this as canny. I hate how it sort of doesn't center it. Canny. And for the means of testing canny, I'm going to select the ending and just hit mute or bypass, well, either one, mute. And that means I'll have to turn that on later. But that means I can basically hit play, and it's just going to run. It's already run this, so it's not going to rerun this. I can see there that it's detected the edges, but it's, left out some details, and therefore I might bring this threshold down, say to 0.2, and see it adds in more detail. And let's bring this down as well to, let's say, 0.4. Let's go even lower. I just want to go really low now and see what happens. How much? I guess minimalism is... okay, there's what we don't want, because this is too noisy. Now, if you were to generate an image with this canny, it would still generate an image, but it would be like looking at... it would be thinking these are like textures or something, and it could be interesting from an experimental perspective. But like just looking for, normal edges of a building. And it really depends on, so that one like does something with the floor. So we can again, right. And you can play around with this with whatever image you're using to get the images. I definitely want a straight line across the top, but let's just work with that. So this is again, not into ControlNet yet. So we need the same apply ControlNet and load ControlNet. So we need, let's say, to copy. I'm using Alt to just drag this. And where this is depth here, I want to switch this to canny 256. And let's say ControlNet. And here I'm going to get the positive and negative, just like a flowing train, to come through from one ControlNet to the next. We're going to just rack them. The image is going to be this This is the canny image for the control net. VAE, we want another, and I'm just going to reroute it to here. And each time I kind of like put this on the train, because this like technically is going back to the previous one, I generally just like link it in so it's actually going in one thing. It's not really going to make a difference with VAE, but with other things it might make a difference. Okay, and we have the 0.6, which is just copied off the previous one, and then we can put these in for positive and negative. Okay, so that looks right. Now I can unmute this by Control M and see how this. And with this, you could go through and bypass the depth, test what it looks like with canny only. And like, if you think about it from a building, that like, if you were just getting the edges of the building and generating it with no noise, so no, put this back to 1, so it's not like doing the image, then you're generating an image just from edges, and that could be useful from like the edge of the building, but it doesn't give you the depth. And in that sense, a lot of buildings are using depth, but other things, even like a face, might use more edges, like just get the eyes, the nose, the ears. So it's sort of mixing the two as you want. So this is not the most exciting playground, but it still has elements that are putting color in, at least, which I think is following the prompt of a colorful playground. Okay, so that's as simple as it is inserting in a second control net. It's almost the same as the first. Could play around with the strength of each. So we could go back up to 0.8 and I mean, like, because I've got so many checks going into this of the noising the original image, the canny, the depth, it's kind of coming through as quite close to the original. And if I want it to be more creative, I need to turn down some of this stuff so it's affecting it less. Like, for example, like, let's say I turn this up to 1, so no original image into it, which means it doesn't actually know it's minimalism, because, or it doesn't know at least the texture, because it just knows this depth and this canny, right? And let's even turn this down to 0.2 or something. And then let's say like a swimming pool or something, right? Or an urban swimming pool. And it's only really going off this in order to make the swimming pool with these current settings. Okay, it actually comes out kind of looking like the original, but let's turn this down to 0.5. If we turn everything down, we'll get something that doesn't even look remotely like the original image. So it's sort of finding balance. There we go. Now it's sort of, you can see that it's taking the canny edges, but doing something completely different. Let's go even lower. Maybe these lines are a bit more prescriptive of what it thinks is happening, but in other examples, you might not need to go as low. Let's even just, this is what I mean by bypass. So let's bypass depth altogether and go again. So now this is only using edges. And even if we moved this, if we were able to move these thresholds in order to get rid of some of the detail and only just had like an axis to go off, then you can, control it in that way as well. But there's a lot of playing around with those images. I'll just continue on to the last bit of control I want to do, and that is called an image prompt or an IP adapter. And I might let's leave this back on at 0.6 for each. Okay, so for image prompt adapter, we're going to make another line, and we're going to load a different image. So let's say load image. And each time you can save files. I mean, I'm going to give you all these as different workflows, but you can kind of load and save them each time we're doing something different. Okay, so we're going to load in a new image. We're going to use an IP adapter. And we want the IP adapter advanced. And we're going to load the IP adapter model. IP adapter model loader. And we only have one, or I only have one option available, which is SDXL VITH safe tensors. So that's going to go to IP adapter. Then the model is going to be from the original model. So that's where we're going to start to get noisy now. And then the image is this one. We're going to change it from this one though. And then we want the clip vision as well. So we can do load clip vision. And I'm going to do this one at the top, VITH14. Okay, so now we can just put this model. So previously it was going, let's just come down here and reroute and go to the end now. Let me just wind that out here. And let's make, I can't remember if I made all of these yellow or right. I'm just gonna make them all yellow for now. I think I used a different color for IP adapter. Okay, so I'm going to use inputs, 100 architects, and these kind of colorful images. So here's like now a specific style of a playground. And now I can hit play. And what I'm hoping is it's going to take this as an image prompt, as a style, to sort of guide what the final result looks like. I might move to using a 1024 by 1024 image as well. That work better. So currently it's loading clip vision, and this is where things are starting to stack up that we're loading in this model and the main model. So now we have a kind of playground in the Campo Beza house that in a way is using the same colors. We can see this sort of blue, yellow, red, as well as kind of geometry that's kind of being copied off this image. So let's see if we can go inputs. What should I change? I have this one that's local to you. Well, it's still no 1024 by 1024. Let's go with Battersea Power Station. So now you can kind of see the advantage that like this is saving my depth map, my county map, and you can kind of see the county here is a bit more detailed than I want. It's saving the parameters as an SVG, and now it's saving the output. And okay, it's decided to sort of miniaturize this as if it was the playground was Battersea Power Station was like twice the height of me rather than multiple times the height of me. Okay, so that's image prompt adapters. I did some really fun ones taking 100 architects with like beach hut and lifeguards. It's kind of fun to kind of just combine images in this way, like by using this as your image style. Then this is your depth canny image, really. And then we have our text prompt as well. Actually, I was still using this urban swimming pool. I thought that was, I guess it's following the the um, the image prompt a lot more than it's following the text prompt. So we can also like put a weight on this as, let's say, 0.6. Can't remember what I turned into a swimming pool that actually worked really well. Okay. Or maybe I changed inputs this to, I think I had some images of swimming pools. I don't know where they are. Let's say even if we like tried to get a sketch style, so this is from Nono, and we sort of said an architectural sketch with playground. And also, rather than coming down here to run every time, I can just do Control Enter. I think I hit that twice. And we'll come to LoRa's later, but like Nono did a LoRa on all of his sketches, which is another way to control things. But this is a much simpler, minimal, faster way of just using it as one image as an image prompt to kind of give you the style. It didn't work well at all. Let's turn this up to 1 and regenerate with Control Enter. All right, might need some work, but sometimes, like if I'm looking specifically for a white background and putting into the prompt, like comma white background can work well. But I'll finish up there for this video, and now next we'll look at how Flux can be used to do some similar stuff as what's going on here. Interesting, it's using his text labeling style there. I wonder if reducing that would change it, but again, like everything, it's sort of playing around with different options. And if we actually wanted like an image that really matched the style, Allure Art would be a much better option anyway. So, okay, I'm going to stop the video there, and the next one will be on Flux.